Welcome back this week. If you are seeing this here first on YouTube, it's because you have subscribed and clicked notification, and I really appreciate that. By all means, bring more to the book club. And you are seeing it before I upload it to Facebook and LinkedIn. And this week we are talking about 1922. And this one will be short but sweet because this 129-page story is short but not sweet. And it's about a 90% match between book and movie, and the 10% differences are very much worth talking about. Anyway, 1922 is a story about the price of short-sightedness. It's also a Stephen King tailored rendition of Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart, the big difference being the soundtrack of The Murderer's Conscience. Instead of a heartbeat, it's the squealing of rats. Now, everything in the movie is in the book. The written confession at the beginning, the domestic turf war between husband and wife, leading to thoughts of emasculation, divorce, and a custody battle. The plot to murder her by getting her so drunk to the point that she's not even herself anymore. Then the act of murder and disposal of the body in a way that witnessing the decomposition is unavoidable. That right there is the first of the two major differences between the book and the movie. He can't stay away from that well, for other reasons. And in the book, he continues to see his late wife in advancing decomposition, with the eyes gone, the jaw come unhinged, maggots all over, the rats, additional damage to the skull. And the movie just stops at where she just looks like a blood-covered zombie, but still looks like her. The filmmakers could have borrowed one of the ghouls from Ghost Story to make it more accurate, but who cares? Anyway, the rats swarm the body, and not too soon after they swarm the farm and the livestock. There's also the corrosion of their son's character, as he steals away with the neighboring girl that he got pregnant, and they embark on a short life of crime that the protagonist, Wilfred, he's told about by his dead and decomposing wife as he's having a hallucination while in the throes of an infection from a rat bite on his hand. Their Bonnie and Clyde shenanigans get them killed, also turns friends and neighbors into enemies. Then there's Wilfred having to identify his son's body and suffer the observation of rat damage to his face. It goes into his life after he leaves the farm forever, after the rat damage to his house and his own body have become too much. He gets away with the murder because when the body is finally found by police, it's too far gone to look like anything other than a kidnapping and murder. The book and movie detail his last few jobs before the story comes full circle back to his moment of confession. And now we get to the shocking twist ending that was not in the movie. In the movie, the last thing he saw was his long-dead and rat-eaten family looking at him in judgment. In the book, his last conscious thoughts are of being attacked by rats in his hotel room and bitten to death. The last page is his obituary. Behold. Librarian commits suicide in local hotel. Bizarre scene greets hotel security man. The body of Wilfred James, a librarian at the Omaha Public Library, was found in a local hotel on Sunday when efforts by hotel staff to contact him met with no response. The resident of a nearby room had complained of a smell like bad meat, and a hotel chambermaid reported hearing muffled shouting or crying like a man in pain late Friday afternoon. After knocking repeatedly and receiving no response, the hotel's chief of security used his pass key and discovered the body of Mr. James slumped over the room's writing desk, I saw a pistol and assumed he had shot himself, the security man said. But no one had reported a gunshot, and there was no smell of expended gunpowder. When I checked the gun, I determined it was a badly maintained .25 and not loaded. But then, of course, I had seen the blood. I have never seen anything like that before and never want to again. He had bitten himself all over, arms, legs, ankles, even his toes. Nor was that all. It was clear he had been busy with some sort of writing project, but he had chewed up the paper as well. It was all over the floor. It looked like paper does when rats chew it up to make their nests. In the end, he chewed his own wrists open. I believe that's what killed him. He certainly must have been deranged. Little is known of Mr. James at this writing. Ronald Quarles, the head of librarian at the Omaha Public Library, took Mr. James on in late 1926. He was obviously down on his luck and handicapped by the loss of a hand, but he knew his books and his references were good. Quarles said he was collegial but distant. I believe he had been doing factory work before applying for a position here, and he told people that before losing a hand, he owned a small farm in Hemingford County. The World Herald is interested in the unfortunate Mr. James and solicits information from any readers who may have known him. The body is being held at the Omaha County Morgue, pending disposition by next of kin. If no next of kin appears, said Dr. Tattersall, the morgue's chief medical officer, I suppose he'll be buried in public ground. There you have it. The rats were all in his head. He bit himself to death. And that is it for 1922. Thank you for watching, and I will see you back next week for The Exorcist.